Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled over a beautiful and prosperous kingdom. He was a kind and fair ruler, always caring for the well-being of his people. The citizens admired him and lived happily under his reign. They were confident that their king would always do what was right. Whenever a problem arose, the king patiently listened to the people and resolved their issues with wisdom and justice. He had a wise minister whose clever advice often helped the king solve tricky problems. With the minister's quick thinking, the king made fair decisions that maintained peace throughout the land. The people trusted their king, knowing that, no matter the challenge, he would find the right solution. One day, the king was visiting the capital with his minister. As they walked through the marketplace, they came across two men arguing loudly in the street. The king stopped and asked,
"What is the matter here?"
The first man pointed at a large bag of grain and said,
"This bag is mine. I bought it this morning. But he is trying to take it from me."
The second man shook his head angrily.
"No, Your Majesty. I bought the grain. But when I stepped away for a moment, he tried to claim it as his."
The king thought for a moment and turned to the minister.
"What do you think? How can we know who is telling the truth?"
The minister smiled and whispered to the king. The king nodded and said,
"All right. Guards, open the bag of grain."
When the bag was opened, the king took a handful of the grain and inspected it. Then he asked the first man,
"Tell me, what kind of grain is this? And what price did you pay for it?"
The man hesitated.
"It's wheat." "Yes, wheat. I paid 20 gold coins."
The king raised an eyebrow, then turned to the second man.
"And you? Can you describe the grain?"
Without hesitation, the second man said,
"It's barley, Your Majesty. I bought it for 15 coins.
The king smiled and said,
"The grain is indeed barley, as this man correctly stated. The bag belongs to him."
The first man fell on his knees and confessed,
"Forgive me, Your Majesty. I tried to steal what was not mine."
The king's face darkened with anger.
"Guards! Arrest this man immediately!"
"Well done, Your Majesty,"
the minister said.
"Justice has been served."
The king and his minister continued their walk through the capital. One day, the king was holding his court. Suddenly a man entered the court and pleaded to the king.
"O king, do me the justice. My master has cheated me."
The king asked,
All right. Who are you and what is your case?
"My lord, my name is Adam. Yesterday I was going with my master on a business tour. It was a hot afternoon. We sat down to take a breather in the shade inside a church compound. There I saw a red bag in a corner. With the permission of my master, I picked it up. It contained 2 white diamonds. I said that it belonged to the state, because it was lying in a church. My master proposed that we could share the diamonds and tell no one about it. I got greedy and agreed to it. It meant freedom from slavery and poverty. But my master later refused to give me my share of the diamonds. So, I had to come to seek justice.
the master of Adam was summoned to the court. He was asked to make a statement. He stated,
"O king, it is true that the diamonds were found, but my servant is a liar. I gave him the diamonds and asked him to deposit them in the royal treasury because they belong to the state. He went away and came back. When I asked him for the receipt of the treasury, he started making excuses. When I put pressure, he came to you with a fake story."
I see.
the king said.
What proof have you got? That you are telling the truth?
"My lord, I have 3 other servants. They were witnesses to what happened."
The man revealed. The 3 witnesses were also summoned to the king's court. They admitted that the diamonds were given to Adam in their presence. The king asked the parties to stay in the court and retired to the inner chamber. He sent a servant to call the minister. As the king retired to his inner chamber, the minister was at home. He was enjoying tea with his wife. They sat at the table, which was served with high tea items. Fluffy scones, sweet pastries, and savory sandwiches.
This tea is perfect.
The minister said, taking a sip.
I'm glad you like it.
His wife replied, smiling. Suddenly, the royal servant entered the room, bowing respectfully.
My lord, the king has summoned you to the court.
The minister set down his cup, nodding. He glanced at his wife.
I have to go.
With that, he left to attend the king's court. The king asked the commander.
What do you think? Is Adam lying?
Yes, Your Highness. Adam looks the liar. He has kept the diamonds for himself.
But to me, he sounded true. The three witnesses can be wrong.
The king said. The minister said,
Your Majesty, I want to ask some questions of the three witnesses.
Now, the minister was alone in the chamber. He called one of the servants in. When the first witness arrived, the minister questioned,
Did your master give the diamond to Adam in your presence?
Yes, my lord.
replied the witness.
So, you have seen the diamonds. Tell me their color, size, and shape. Draw a picture if you like.
The minister provided paper and black coal. The witness looked confused. He stammered.
They were in the red bag.
All right. Stand there in the corner. Don't speak.
He stood in the corner. The minister called in another witness. The second witness agreed that he had seen the diamonds. He revealed the color and made 2 round figures on the paper. The minister asked him to stand in the corner. The third witness came in and faced the same questions. He said,
The diamonds were wrapped in paper, so I couldn't see them.
The 3 witnesses were sheepishly looking at one another. They knew that their lies had been caught.
My lord, we were forced to lie.
One of them confessed.
Our master threatened us with dismissal from service if we didn't play his game.
The truth was now out in the open. The king ordered a search of their master's house. And the diamonds were found hidden in a chest. The culprit was arrested. The king ordered him to pay 10,000 gold coins to Adam as a fine for cheating. And the diamonds were to be deposited in the treasury. The king praised the minister, saying,
Your wisdom impresses me.
Moral: Truth always prevails in the end.